Hi, I'm Camilo from Trotalo, and today I want to talk about VloX, the perfect VueJs PHP integration that will allow you to create any kind of digital experience. As an example, we are going to take a quick look at a fully customizable surveying system we built for industrial inspections. Here we have many different surveys. Also for each project we have the clients and different roles. These roles are managed by the CMS and related to the security of the system. So let's go back to the project itself. Here we can see that we have many different surveys and assign a specific person for each one of our forms. So when we log in with a surveyor, another administrator, we can see that first the upper options changes, and also that we also are going to be able to view the forms that we have assigned. Also, form-wise, we can basically add any kind of field that you want. We have dynamic fields, you can upload files, also create dynamic tables, upload Excel files, and communicate with your team using comments and online messages. Let's mark this as complete. Let's go back, and we can see that the form is complete. But let's now actually see how we can build this kind of stuff. So first, let's go to our public repository and let's have a command line open. In this case, our infrastructure it's built on top of Docker. So if you have Docker installed on your desktop, it's going to be really easy to get this up and running. The first step is going to clone the base infrastructure. So let's clone it in our test project. In the next step, I'm going to open a PHP Storm, which is my preferred ID, and we'll follow the next steps from here. So the next step is going to edit our Docker Compose and update our local IP address in order to tell Docker where it should be listening for connections. So let's go to standard command prompt, let's tap ipconfig, and let's get our address. In this case, I'm connecting with a cable, so that's the reason it says Ethernet, but if you're using Wi-Fi, you usually use your Wi-Fi IP. So let's put this here, save our file, and go to our terminal and run the next command. In the next command, we are going to be basically downloading the images for both MySQL and Apache PHP, so this is going to take some time depending on your computer and your connection. So here we can see that the actual containers are starting. We can see the output from the database and the web container. Now it's going to install ModX itself. It's going to add some components that we need for the plugin. And finally, when we see this message command line Apache the foreground, it means that it's up and running. So next step is going to take the IP that we tell Docker that we're going to be listening to, open a new tab, and let's go to that IP. This means that we have a successful ModX installation. So now for the next step, let's go to the big green button and log in into the manager. And now we are totally sure that we have a ModX installation fully up and running for us to develop into. So now let's move this here so we can see the instruction, our ModX console, and let's follow the actual steps that will get us VloX installed in our ModX, and we can start creating view page along PHP code. So let's start by downloading the transport package. Next step is going to actually install the package inside of freshly ModX installation. So as it says here, we need to click the download access option, upload a package, and install it. So let's click the arrow, select upload package, choose files, browse for the file that we just downloaded, upload it, close this dialog, and click install. Here we just tell it to continue, and we'll be done and have VloX installed. So next step is going to refresh the browser, we see a new throttle menu and inside a blocks option. So let's click on it. And here we can actually see our blocks editor. So first we're going to see what blocks we have. In this case we're empty. Let's create a new one with some random name. Sorry for the typo. And let's create block. As we can see, it's rendering the wrong information, so we need to do some another steps just the first time that we install blocks. So first let's refresh again. As we can see, we have a new resource called the blocks renderer, which is in charge of actually render the Vue components along with the PHP code inside ModX. And next, let's go to clear cache, click refresh URIs, let's click OK, and clear cache. OK, to make sure that we're working with the latest of everything. And now, when we come here, we actually can see the HTML that we have rendered. In this developer preview, we have integration with Vue Bootstrap. So I'm going to grab some code from a car from Bootstrap and add it here. Let's click update the preview and we can see our car as it comes default from Bootstrap. So far we have basically seen some Vue component rendering inside our CMS, but next step, let's actually add some PHP code. If you have sometimes issues rendering, just refresh the page. They should go away, and they are going to totally go away in our next release, which will include the Webpack compilation process. So for adding PHP codes, we are going to use something called snippets inside ModX. So let's copy this. Let's update the preview. As you can see, we have the new tag, but nothing is showing for call PHP. Let's add some break line here, so it looks a little bit better. And next step is going to actually create the snippet. So let's go to elements. Let's go then to snippets. And let's click the plus sign. Here we can create basically any kind of PHP code. In other tutorials we will be explaining how to manage more complex projects, but so far this is more than enough of what we're doing. So in this case we're going to have just a simple PHP which is going to give us our session ID. So let's go to our blocks editor, click here, and as you can see it's already loading our PHP code. Other thing that we really enjoy about working with ModX is the capability to use chunks. Chunks are basically pieces of code that, especially HTML code, or also you can use it for JS code, that you can just insert. Actually, the CMS inserts that code in any component. This has proven to be very useful for having the exact same HTML used across different components. So for example, let's create something really simple here. Let's put a name. It's going to be just a div with a paragraph inside. Also, you can add another extra to have a pretty cool pretty print editor here. We're also going to be adding this to the next version of the infrastructure container. So it's going just to be a div, some tests, and some paragraph. Let's copy this just to make sure. And let's go back to our component here, so we can say now let's just call some common HTML. Here we use the money sign along the name and save it, and when we save it you can see that it's basically printing the HTML that we got at the other side. It's been almost a year since we started working with these technologies, and although at first it was hard, it was totally worth it since we have been able to build pretty cool stuff for our clients at a fraction of the headache than using other technologies. So thank you very much for your time, and stay tuned for more tutorials and our next release, which will include all the node package administration, Webpack compilation, and other cool features for you to work easily with Vue and PHP. Thank you very much.